According to Greek mythology, the universe began with chaos, an empty void of darkness and confusion. From chaos emerged several divine entities or primordial deities, including Gaia, Eros, Abyss, and Erebus. These first beings emerged from chaos, paved the way for all the gods and heroes that would follow. Gaia, also known as Earth, was considered the mother goddess and personification of the earth itself. Eros was the god of love and desire, while the Abyss was a dark and chaotic region of the underworld where the dead resided. Erebus was associated with darkness and shadow and was believed to be the place where the dead entered upon their passing. Without the help of a man, Gaia gave birth to Uranus, the sky, who later fertilized her. 6 males, Coeus, Crius, Cronus, Hyperion, Iapetus, and Oceanus, as well as 6 girls, Mnemosyne, Phoebe, Rhea, Thea, Themis, and Tethys, were the first titans to be produced from that union. Gaia and Uranus ruled that no more titans may be born once Cronus was born. Because Uranus didn't like them, he imprisoned his children deep inside the earth. Gaia created a massive sickle and gave it to her son Cronus because she was tired of seeing her kids in chains. Aphrodite, the goddess of love, beauty, and sexuality, emerged from the sea after Cronus castrated his father and tossed the severed genitalia into it. Rhea, Cronus' sister wife, joined him as his spouse, and together they ruled the gods, and the Age of Titans began. Cronus feared that his children would betray him since he had deceived his father. Cronus so grabbed the newborn and devoured it every time Rhea gave birth. However, Cronus was deceived by Rhea into eating a stone instead of a baby after hiding one of her children, Zeus, and wrapping a stone in a baby's blanket. Gaia, moved by Rhea's plight, concealed Zeus on Mount Ida in Crete following his birth. Zeus was reared by Gaia until he was able to confront his father. When Zeus was an adult, he gave his father a tainted drink to drink, which made Cronus throw up the stone and the other children of Rhea as well. Zeus then issued a wartime challenge to Cronus for the right to rule the gods. The Olympians, including Zeus and his siblings, eventually triumphed, and the Titans were thrown into the abyss to be imprisoned there. Zeus set the Cyclopes and the giants with 100 heads, who Cronus had imprisoned, free after a 12-year-long struggle. The Cyclopes gave Hades the Hat of Darkness, Poseidon his trident, and Zeus his renowned thunderbolt, tipping the scales of combat. After being vanquished, the Titans were cast into Tartarus, a prison buried deep within the underworld, ushering in the Age of the Gods. Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades made the decision to divide their authority, choosing their respective domains by lot. Hades was given the dead, Zeus the sky, and Poseidon the seas. Zeus, the ruler of the gods, presided from his throne atop Mount Olympus, the home of the immortals. He frequently forewarned or encouraged mortals using his symbols, the thunderbolt and the eagle. Depending on his mood, Zeus oversaw all weather variations, from lightning to snow. Being a poor host could get you into serious problems because he was also the protector of the house and visitors. The gods Ares and Hephaestus were born when Zeus married his sister Hera. Zeus was notorious for having multiple affairs with different goddesses. These relationships gave rise to Athena, Hermes, Apollo, Artemis, and Persephone. In addition, he had numerous relationships with human women through which he produced the god Dionysus and numerous heroes like Perseus and Hercules, the majority of whom came under the wrath of an envious Hera. One of the most powerful deities, Poseidon, controlled the sea, caused earthquakes, and was known as the god of horses in ancient times. He possessed a palace on Mount Olympus, but he spent most of his time in an even more spectacular one beneath the sea. To avoid a horrible death at sea, sailors would need to pray to Poseidon and make a proper offering. Crossing Poseidon was extremely dangerous since he harbored resentment and was capable of menacing punishment. King Minos is the ruler of the island of Crete in the myth of Theseus and the Minotaur. He offered Poseidon his best ball every year as a sacrifice. He once refused to give away his favorite ball, a large white animal. Poseidon took note, but he chose to punish Minos' wife rather than the man himself. He fell in love with the ball, which ultimately resulted in the birth of the Minotaur, a monster that is half man and half ball. The underworld, where the spirits of the dead lived, was ruled by Hades, the oldest of the brothers. He and his wife Persephone shared a throne, and the two were revered as superior to fertility gods. The presence of multiple guardians in the underworld made entry difficult for the living and nearly impossible for the dead. The terrible river Styx was outside the gates. It was necessary to obtain passage from Charon, the ferryman, in order to enter. Because Charon demanded payment, Greek funeral customs included placing coins on the deceased's eyes. The soul was destined to wait on the Styx's borders for all eternity if they could not afford to enter. Cerberus, the legendary three-headed hound said to protect the underworld's entrances, was located behind Charon. The three judges of the underworld who decide where the soul should go will eventually encounter the soul. They have the option of Tartarus, the fields of Asphodel, or Elysium. The souls of heroes, demigods, and especially good humans are said to reside in Elysium, which is like paradise and is a serene region. On the other hand, the Asphodel Meadows is a haven for common people who haven't accomplished anything noteworthy in their lives, whether good or bad. In addition to the Titans and those who offend the gods and are tortured forever, Tartarus is very comparable to Hell. Hera was the goddess of marriage and women, as well as Zeus' sister and wife. In Greek society, she was held in high esteem. One of the most furious and vindictive deities, she punished women who had affairs with her husband and any offspring. Hera intervened to prevent Leto from giving birth while she was carrying Apollo and Artemis. Lo, another of Zeus' mistresses, was turned into a white cow, and the 100-eyed monster Argus was assigned to watch over her. The story of Hercules is a well-known example of her jealous fury. Zeus had an illegitimate child named Hercules. When he was a young boy, Hera sent snakes to murder the future hero, but the demigod killed the snakes with his bare hands. Later, Hera drove Hercules insane and forced him to murder his wife and children, which struck him with grief and full of remorse and what started him on his 12 labors. The daughter of Zeus and Metis, Athena, the goddess of wisdom and warfare, was not a typical birth. Zeus swallowed Metis while she was pregnant because he believed an omen indicated that their offspring would usurp his throne. Zeus then started to experience severe headaches. he requested that a fellow immortal, who was likely Hephaestus, use an axe to split apart his head. Then, springing out of his forehead while screaming in battle, Athena was born, outfitted for fight. Hercules and Perseus were two examples of heroes that Athena frequently aided. She made great efforts to protect Odysseus so he may return to his native nation because he was her favorite. Athena was highly esteemed, and the city bears her name. She and Poseidon fought over who could bestow the city with the best gift. With one blow of his trident, Poseidon caused a stream of water to emerge from the ground. On the other hand, the first olive tree appeared as a result of Athena's kick to the soil. Athena was regarded successful by the gods, and the city was given her name. The Parthenon, which derives from the Greek word Parthenos, which means the Virgin, was the name of the temple erected on the Acropolis in Athens in honor of Athena, one of the revered virgin deities. Ares was the ruthless and murderous god of war. Ares was not particularly liked by God or mortals. He stands for bloodshed and primordial wrath on the battlefield, not noble or honorable conflict. The goddess Aphrodite, who was wed to the deity Hephaestus, had a romance with Ares. Every time her husband was away, they would sleep together. Hephaestus created an invisible net, hanged it over his bed, and informed his wife that he was leaving as soon as he learned the truth. When Ares and Aphrodite climbed into bed together, he hid, and they were immediately caught in the net and unable to move. All the gods were summoned by Hephaestus, who asked them to come and view the two nude immortals caught in the net. Only Poseidon's intervention allowed them to be let out. They had been laughing and bursting out everywhere. The goddess of beauty and love, Aphrodite, often used her abilities for her own amusement and was the cause of erotic attraction in both mortals and immortals. Various accounts of her birth claim that she was either conceived in Uranus' womb or that Zeus or another illegitimate child gave birth to her. When Prince Paris of Troy was tasked with offering an apple to the fairest goddess, Hera, Athena, or Aphrodite, each promising him something different in return. Paris decided on Aphrodite because she promised him Helen, the most beautiful woman on earth. Menelaus, the king of Sparta, was married to Helen. When Paris came to visit Sparta, Aphrodite put Helen under a spell, causing her to flee with him. The Trojan War began when King Menelaus and his brother Agamemnon amassed a sizable army to go rescue Helen from Troy. Artemis, the goddess of the hunt and Apollo's twin sister, was a skilled archer and a significant figure on Mount Olympus. She made sure the wildness was under control by keeping an eye on both hunters and their prey. Additionally, Artemis was highly valued for her decision to remain a virgin, and she took great care to protect her virginity from any potential threat or unwanted advances. Nevertheless, she was once discovered by the hunter Actaeon while she was taking a bath. The man suffered a torturous death as a result of his error, when Artemis transformed him into a deer and unleashed her 50 hunting dogs on him. Apollo, the identical twin of Artemis, was a polytheistic god and god of music, poetry, prophecy, and among other things. He was worshipped with both a bow and a lyre. He established an oracle on Delos in honor of the place where he was born. Later, he went to Mount Parnassus and killed Python, a huge snake. He built a temple there, laying the cornerstone for the future home of the renowned Oracle of Delphi. Hermes, the messenger of God and thief patron. He was well known among the gods as a trickster who frequently played practical jokes on and stole from other deities. When he reached adulthood, he took on the role of messenger and brought a golden rod as a symbol of his authority. He frequently wears a helmet with wings and sandals, which he uses to fly and convey messages. Demeter, a goddess of agriculture and the harvest. Her daughter Persephone was the one thing she treasured above everything else. Hades, who had fallen in love with Persephone, had a similar interest in her. He once tore open the ground when the girl was collecting flowers and dragged her to the underworld. When Demeter learned about it, she was devastated and spent 9 days and nights looking for her daughter before the sun god Helios revealed who was holding her. Demeter spent the entire year locked there, refusing to go until Persephone was brought back. The world experienced starvation without the goddess of farming. Zeus commanded Hades to release Persephone in order to preserve the world. The girl was tethered to Hades when he fed her a pomegranate, the meal of the dead. Zeus finally reached an agreement that Persephone would spend 3 months of the year with Hades and the remaining 9 with Demeter. This explains why the winter months are cold and the plants die, as Demeter waits for her daughter to return. Hephaestus, the god of smithing, had a trying beginning to existence. His mother Hera made the decision to cast him off Olympus into the sea to drown because he was born with a limp. Later, when he returned to the god's realm, Hera gave him Aphrodite as a wife in an effort to make amends. He was a brilliant architect who created several of the palaces on Mount Olympus. He also made the armor and superb shields for numerous heroes, including Achilles, for whom he made both. Dionysus, the god of wine and celebrations, was arguably the most amusing of the Olympians. He was followed by hysterical ladies known as Maenad and half-goat men known as satyrs. In Greece, where his devotees would partake in mass drinking rituals and the orgies his mythological companion were so well known for. While many people believe that these ancient deities are nothing more than myths, their legacy continues to shape our world in countless ways. From the names of the planets in our solar systems, to the inspiration they provide for modern literature and art, the gods and goddesses of ancient Greece are truly timeless. But perhaps most importantly, the values and ideals embodied by these powerful figures continue to inspire and guide us as we navigate our complex modern world. Whether it's the wisdom of Athena, the strength of Hercules, or the compassion of Artemis, the lessons of Greek gods remain as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago.